It's time for Fraud Watch, a series where we look at players or even franchises. By using both the expectation and numbers, we can determine if they should be considered frauds or not.
Wait.
I'm not here to hate or defend anyone. I shall remain unbiased. Maybe I might push an agenda, I don't know. Alright, this video we got the Leafs, more specifically the Core 4 era. We already know the Leafs are a poverty franchise. They haven't won since 1967. They haven't made the final since 1967. It is technically harder to win a division today than it is to win the cup back when they won it in a 6-team league. And if a Leafs fan mentions that they have 13 cups or whatever, just give them a hug and tell them everything will be okay because they're coping. Anyways, I had to get that off my chest. Back to the main topic. Were the Core 4 in Toronto frauds or not? You probably already know the answer, but let's dive into this. Moving forward, I'm going to be using SRS, which is simple rating system, which pretty much just looks into the goal differential and strength of schedule of a team to determine whether or not the Leafs should have been favorite to win a series or not. 2019 round 1, we got the Leafs and the Bruins. The Bruins were favorite to win this one and ultimately won in 7 games. Most people hold this against the Leafs just because it's Boston and it's game 7, but be realistic here. I don't hold this loss against the Core 4. This was their first year together, and most of their core was still young. Nylander, Marner, and Matthews were still in their early 20s. I don't hold this loss against them. This one is fine. We'll give them a pass for this. 2020 qualifying round. We got the Leafs and the Blue Jackets, where the Leafs were the favorite to win this, but ultimately lost in Game 5 of a 5-game series. This one is a bad look. I know the core is still relatively young, but come on, bro. Let me give you guys a question. When was the last time Ohio sports was good without LeBron James? Exactly. They should have won this series. They were the favorite in the first place. They also had momentum at the end of Game 4, completing an incredible comeback just to get blinked out in Game 5. I will hold this loss against them. 2021 first round, we got the Canadiens and Maple Leafs, where the Maple Leafs were heavy favorite. Oh my god, this one is embarrassing. The Leafs ultimately lost in 7 games to a team that wouldn't even make a playoff in a normal regular season, but due to the COVID season, they got in through the North Division, the Canadian Division. I forgot what it was called. Absolutely no excuses for this. They were just a way better team. And I don't know how they lost the Canadiens, bro. Like, this team is garbage. The Canadiens are trash. It was literally just Carey Price versus the entire Leafs, and they couldn't get the job done. And I know, oh yeah, John Tavares was injured. John Tavares got injured in Game 1. The Leafs were up 3-1 in this series. I hold this one heavily against them. 2022 first round, we got the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Maple Leafs, where the Leafs ultimately lost in 7 games. The Leafs were a slight favorite in this one, and their core essentially has entered their prime. Even with that, I don't hold this one against them due to the fact that the Lightning were the defending 2-time champion. So losing to them is respectable, even though you could argue they should have won. But I'll be very lenient here. I'll let it slide, you know. There's no shame in losing to the champs. 2023 first round, we got the Lightning and the Maple Leafs again. This time, the Lightning aren't defending champions, and this time, Leafs are a much bigger favorite. And ultimately, after 20 whatever years it has been, the Leafs finally win a series. A series they should have won, and they did. Surely, this is finally their year to go all the way. Nope, they got curb stomped in the very next round to a team they were even bigger favorite against in 5 games. Not a single game did the Leafs score more than 2 goals. Come on, bro. You got Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares. You cannot generate more than 2 goals a game? There's no more pressure. You finally won a series. Like, go out there and play. Do it again? Nah, they fell short. And I hold this one against them. Even though they won round 1, I'm holding this one against them because they should have won round 2 as well. And the most recent one, 2024, the Bruins versus the Maple Leafs, where the Bruins were the slight favorites to win. But that doesn't matter anymore because the Core 4 is officially in their prime. There's no excuses to being slight underdogs. At this point, you got to win. I didn't hold the other loss to Boston against them because they were young. There's no excuses now. Boston is shaky themselves after last season, choking a 3-1 series lead. You put them in the exact same possession and you couldn't get the job done. I hold this against them completely. If a team like the Panthers did it last season, you have no reason why you couldn't do it this season with a guy who scored 69 goals. I don't care if he had a tummy ache and missed the game. You have the firepower to win, and you didn't. So let's recap their 6-year window of the Core 4. A team that was expected to win cups, multiple cups actually, produced 1 series win in a 6-year window. In those 6 years, they played in 7 series. Of those 7 series, they should have won 5 of them. They only won once. Without a doubt, the numbers say it, the expectation is unmatched. The Core 4 era was frauds, but that's the entire unit together. Let's break it down to each player individually. We're going to do this by comparing each player's regular season stats to their postseason stats. Now, it's pretty normal for your numbers to drop during the playoffs, better competition, better game plan. So we'll say that if your numbers are the same or less than 0.25 point per game compared to the regular season, you performed as expected. If your numbers are lower than this, you underperformed. And if your numbers actually go up in the playoffs, that you overperformed. I think this is a very fair expectation. You could argue it's way too lenient, but it looks fine to me. First up, we got the 4th man, Nylander, who I've claimed is the most valuable Leaf player on the Core 4. And if we look at the numbers, we could see that he overperformed in 3 of these series, performed in 2 of them, and underperformed in the other 2. Overall, we can say he played as expected, and he is not a fraud. Moving on to Tavares. Pretty sure he's the captain. I don't know what they be doing in the locker room. But anyways, if we look at the number, we could see he's overperformed in 1 of these playoffs. He was injured in 1, so we won't count that. He performed in 1, and he underperformed in 4 of them. Ultimately, Tavares disappears when the lights are brightest, and this guy is a fraud. Next, we got the wingman himself, Marner. We can see his numbers are absolutely atrocious. He's performed in 1 series, he overperformed in 1 series, and then a whole lot of red. He's underperformed in 5 of these series. No question about it. Marner is a fraud. We saved the best for last in Matthews. Now the numbers show he's pretty consistent in the playoffs. He's overperformed twice, he's performed twice, and he's underperformed the other 3 times. Now you could make a good argument that this means he's not a fraud. However, during the regular season, these Leafs fans are nothing but delusional and made the claim multiple times that Matthews is either on the same level or very close to the same level as McDavid, who is obviously widely regarded as the best player in the game right now. And if we hold him to that same standard that the delusional Leafs fans keep telling me, then without a doubt, Matthews is a fraud. Looking at all the Core 4 together in their totality, in order of least fraud to most fraud, we can see that Nylander has the 2nd most points per game when playoffs come. And Matthews, you could once again make the argument he's not a fraud. His numbers are still up, but they clearly drop during the playoffs. And then I don't know what Marner and Tavares are doing. They're obviously having a ghosting competition by themselves. Absolute frauds. There's nothing to excuse them from this. So in conclusion, the entire Core 4 are frauds. Matthews is a fraud, Marner is a fraud, Tavares is a fraud, but Nylander isn't a fraud. He's cool in my books. Let me know, do you guys think this was a fair assessment? Do you think I was too harsh, too biased? I think I was very lenient in terms of expectation, and I just followed the numbers at that point, and the numbers indicated that 3 of these guys were frauds and 1 wasn't.
Tell me what you see. Is it money?